So Moonshine is the next album that's coming after the Wanted record, and these guys probably explain it better. Like I rang them up and said, all right, how do we go the next step after the Wanted album? I knew I wanted to call it Moonshine. It's like how are we gonna evolve from the Wanted record into the Moonshine record, so we've still got those themes running through, because now that I'm wearing costumes and all that sort of fun stuff for live, what are we going to do? And so this is what they came up with.
For us, Brian and I, Moonshine felt like, well, it's the movement ahead, like from Wanted, you're riding on horses. Well, Moonshine, you sliding into town on a truck. You know, it's just kind of like modernizing it a little bit more.
It's kind of like the first Wanted record was 1883. And then it kind of evolves into Yellowstone, like a more modern version. But still with those elements of sound. But on this record, there will be more like probably, you know, synths and cool pads and just little modern elements that give it a vibe, I guess.
But the tones and things like that, you'll hear some of the same guitar tones.
Yes.
But
that's
like
right.
Brian said, but okay, we're going to add a little more modern vibe. Maybe it's a pad or synth or whatever it may be. So we just kind of taken it. It's grown up. Wanted was the little buckaroo guy, and now you're kind of sliding in your hot rod James Dean Camaro or whatever. It's like, okay, here we are, next thing up. So.
Yeah. And I think that's the fun part, is creatively we get to take what we did but bring it into the modern day. And like we were saying, some of the instruments will be the same, that you'll hear some of sound effects that were on the Wanted album that already is on Moonshine, the first single. So yeah,
it's on brand. You know, I mean, it's like what we created, the three of us on the Wanted record, was a brand, really. It was like people, when you walk out on stage in your Wanted outfit, well, all of a sudden you can't show up and just like, okay, now she's just back to...
Jayne
it's like, okay, now Jayne's kind of stepped it up a little bit, and now we're here, and that's where Moonshine went.
Well, again, we had that kind of pulsing bass synth in there. The drums play a part, where the other ones, they were kind of more vast and expansive. These are tighter and punchier. And then more layering, I think, on some of this stuff, adding more instruments. And then I do love the darker vibe, because I guess in the Moonshine times, it was kind of a dark time, so it kind of plays into that.
So having Colt on it was amazing, and he crushed it. And so the two of them, I think he created, again, a piece of art that the audience and your listeners and your fans are going to go, oh my gosh, this is another step up. We've kind of amped up the game here a little bit. As a whole, the overall Moonshine record, I think, is, I think the songs are epic. We've been able to pull from some of the best songwriters in Nashville and surrounding areas that kind of, they have hits with a lot of big artists. I think people are going to listen to Moonshine and see, like, okay, this is where the next step for Jayne Denham was, and it wasn't like, oh, they had Wanted and then this one kind of fell short. I think they had Wanted and now they've kind of taken it up another notch.
And we're excited. I mean, we've tracked 3 songs, getting ready for the next 3. And even though we have an idea in our mind, it's like, you don't know until you get in there and start working with things. And you add this, and then it gives you an idea for this. And so it's still a little bit of a mystery to us, even though we know the overall, I guess, theme of it.
Sometimes you can get the best songs and you go, oh my gosh, that's a hit, but it's just not on brand, or it doesn't fit under that umbrella. And I think for me as an artist, I love, everyone's like, oh, we're in a single world. And I'm like, well, yeah, but for me as an artist, I love that whole idea of putting together a body of work, which is the Moonshine record. So that for me is really fun. And we write together as well. That was, again, another thing that we really enjoy doing, is being able to
be creative together.
Shoot the bullet at the target, which is Moonshine. So it's heaps of fun as an artist. So yeah.
We're gonna put some didgeridoo on there. That's not English. It's not very good, is it?
I'm not even trying.
So if you want a sneak peek of the beginning of the Moonshine album, it's out now, featuring Colt Ford. So hope you enjoy it.
Get you some.
Yeah, Moonshine.
Moonshine.